the glittering avenues of New York City have witnessed countless spectacles of glamour, but on this particular morning, a palpable electricity filled the air outside the historic walls of the Ritz-Carlton Nomad. In a metropolis accustomed to the constant parade of the rich and famous, the collective gaze of the world had narrowed to a singular point, drawn by an event of truly monumental proportions. For months, whispers and speculation had fueled an insatiable global curiosity, and now the grand unfolding of a modern fairy tale was taking place right before our eyes. The streets surrounding the luxury hotel were lined with eager onlookers and paparazzi, all waiting for a glimpse of the inner circle belonging to the most talked-about couple of the decade. It is in these highly charged moments, where high fashion intersects with deeply personal milestones, that the true atmosphere of a cultural phenomenon is born. Before we dive deeper into the unfolding drama and the extraordinary coincidences of this historic day, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an exclusive update on the stories defining our culture. As the morning sun cast long shadows across the pavement, the heavy glass doors of the Ritz-Carlton swung open, marking the official beginning of a whirlwind day that would be etched into the annals of pop culture history. Two distinct women, each carrying her own unique connection to the spotlight, stepped out into the crisp autumn air, completely unaware that their choice of attire would instantly become the focal point of global conversation. The sheer scale of the celebration awaiting them was unprecedented, a massive undertaking designed to bring together the worlds of elite entertainment and professional sports under one magnificent roof. Yet, as the world watched, the initial intrigue did not stem from the grand venue or the legendary performers scheduled to take the stage, but from a striking visual synchronicity between two prominent guests. Abigail Anderson, a name deeply woven into the personal history and lyrical tapestry of the bride herself, stepped into the light looking effortlessly radiant. Alongside her, representing the tight-knit camaraderie of the professional football world, was Laura Crook, the elegant fiancée of wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. In an extraordinary twist of fate that fashion commentators would discuss for weeks to come, both women had independently selected the exact same masterpiece of contemporary design for this momentous occasion. The dress in question was a stunning Sao Lee gown, a visual marvel that perfectly balanced structured elegance with fluid, romantic movement, retailing for nearly $800. The upper portion of the garment featured a meticulously fitted corset top, designed to accentuate the silhouette with timeless grace, while the lower half fell into a draped brown silk skirt that caught the light with every step. The most captivating feature of the gown, however, was its intricate bodice entirely covered in a delicate and artistic magnolia flower motif that symbolized dignity and perseverance. Seeing this identical creation worn by two pivotal figures from different chapters of the couple's lives created an immediate sensation, a moment of accidental twinship that added a layer of human charm to an otherwise flawlessly orchestrated event. While the core of the gown was identical, the true artistry lay in how each woman chose to personalize her ensemble, reflecting their individual personalities through carefully curated accessories. Laura Crook opted for a vibrant pop of color, pairing the earthy tones of the dress with a mint green Lady Dior bag, a choice that brought a youthful and fresh energy to her overall appearance. Abigail Anderson, known for her classic yet sophisticated taste, took a different approach by anchoring her look with transparent loose-seat heels and carrying a sleek Cult Gaia clutch, establishing a harmony between modern minimalism and classic romance. This fashion coincidence was merely the prologue to an immense celebration that had actually commenced the previous evening with an exclusive, highly private gathering. On Thursday night, an intimate group of just 100 select guests had gathered for a rehearsal dinner that set a tone of profound warmth and deep personal connection. At that preliminary soiree, Abigail had already demonstrated her keen eye for style, choosing a butter yellow silk dress from Reformation, a brand long favored by her childhood best friend. The $328 gown featured a detachable cape, allowing her to transition seamlessly through the evening while embodying an aura of understated luxury and loyalty. As the morning progressed and the realization of the identical gowns spread through the waiting crowds, the atmosphere shifted from quiet anticipation to intense excitement. The stage was being set for a celebration of epic proportions, a 1,000-person blowout designed to transform Madison Square Garden into an enchanted arena of love and music. The confluence of Hollywood royalty, music legends, and athletic icons was already beginning to materialize, creating a guest list that felt more like a historic cultural summit than a traditional wedding reception. Every detail, from the timing of the fast-approaching cocktail hour to the late-night performances by industry titans, promised an unforgettable experience. Yet, in these early hours, the focus remained intimately fixed on the people who formed the emotional foundation of the bride and groom's journey. The visual symmetry of Abigail and Laura standing outside the Ritz-Carlton served as a beautiful metaphor for the merging of two vast and distinct worlds, bringing together the lifelong memories of a small-town upbringing with the high-stakes adrenaline of the gridiron. The narrative was building, the tension was rising, and the city itself seemed to hold its breath as the countdown to the ceremony began in earnest. As the clock ticked closer to the designated afternoon hours, the quiet luxury of the Ritz-Carlton Nomad gave way to the mounting frenzy of a city preparing for a historic spectacle. The accidental fashion synchronicity of the morning had set the internet ablaze, but the true gravity of the day was now shifting toward the legendary expanse of Madison Square Garden, an arena globally renowned for hosting monumental history, now being transformed into a sanctuary of romance. Security details and logistical coordinators moved with precise efficiency, clearing pathways for a gathering of wealth, talent, and influence that the city had rarely seen concentrated in a single venue. The sheer logistics of managing a 1,000-person guest list of this caliber required months of clandestine planning, yet the veil of secrecy was finally lifting as the first waves of high-profile attendees began their journey toward the arena. The atmosphere in Midtown Manhattan was thick with tension and excitement, as thousands of fans gathered behind barricades miles long, hoping to catch a fleeting glimpse of the cultural icons, legendary artists, and elite athletes who were converging to celebrate a union that bridged the worlds of global music and professional football. This was not merely a marriage of two individuals, but a collision of two massive cultural empires, and every person arriving added a fresh layer of intrigue and grandeur to the unfolding narrative. The scale of the event was staggering, designed to be an immersive experience that would carry the guests from the late afternoon well into the early hours of the following morning, creating a continuous tapestry of celebration, emotion, and unparalleled entertainment. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the official timeline sprang into action as the exclusive cocktail hour commenced, providing a brief moment of sophisticated socialization before the formal proceedings took place. Sources close to the event organizers revealed that this initial hour was meticulously designed to ease the massive crowd into the grandeur of the evening, featuring custom-crafted refreshments and an ambiance that paid homage to both the bride's poetic roots and the groom's Midwestern heritage. The tension in the air was palpable as the hands of the clock moved steadily toward 5:30, the precise moment designated for the hour-long wedding ceremony that would officially bind their lives together. Inside the transformed arena, the scenery was rumored to be nothing short of breathtaking, utilizing cutting-edge design and floral arrangements that mimicked an enchanted, timeless landscape miles away from the concrete reality of the city outside. The guest list itself read like the seating chart of a Lifetime Achievement Gala, representing the absolute pinnacle of contemporary celebrity and achievement. Among the early arrivals, the paparazzi captured the striking presence of Hollywood heavyweight Bradley Cooper, walking alongside supermodel Gigi Hadid, their arrival instantly elevating the glamour quotient of an already blindingly bright red carpet. They were soon followed by acclaimed writer and actress Lena Dunham, a longtime confidant of the bride, whose presence underscored the deep, enduring personal loyalties that remained unchanged despite the global madness surrounding the event. Actress Dakota Johnson was also spotted navigating the high-security entrance, her effortless elegance capturing the attention of fashion critics who were stationed at every vantage point around the perimeter. Joining this elite circle was the enigmatic creative known as Somber, adding an edge of contemporary artistic mystique to the gathering, while a seemingly endless procession of NFL athletes aplenty brought the undeniable physical presence and camaraderie of the professional sports world. Teammates, rivals, and legendary coaches from across the league stood side by side, trade jerseys replaced by bespoke tuxedos, highlighting the deep respect and affection felt for the groom within the football community. The sight of these towering athletic figures mingling with the elite of the fashion and film industries created a surreal, vibrant energy that perfectly encapsulated the unique nature of this union. As the ceremony concluded and the evening transitioned into the grand reception, the anticipation reached a fever pitch with the revelation of the musical legends scheduled to perform. To entertain a crowd that had seen everything, the couple turned to true musical royalty, securing performances from the transcendent Stevie Nicks and the legendary country icon Tim McGraw. The inclusion of these specific artists was a masterstroke of storytelling, as both held profound symbolic importance in the bride's own musical journey and personal mythology, promising a night of emotional resonance that would elevate the party far beyond a standard celebrity reception. The energy inside the room was described as an escalating wave of joy and celebration, with organizers expecting the festivities to continue until at least 2 o'clock in the morning. There was a collective hope among the onlookers and commentators that Abigail Anderson and Laura Crook, despite their morning wardrobe coincidence, would embrace the humor of the situation and break it down together on the massive dance floor, symbolizing the perfect harmony of the two worlds coming together. Every detail of the evening, from the precise timing of the vows to the legendary voices echoing through the rafters of the garden, contributed to a growing sense that those present were witnessing a definitive moment in modern cultural history. A night where the boundaries between public spectacle and private devotion dissolved entirely. As the midnight hour approached inside the soaring arches of Madison Square Garden, the true emotional weight of this monumental gathering became fully realized, transforming a public spectacle into an eternal testament of love, loyalty, and shared histories. To understand why this night mattered so deeply to the thousand souls gathered within the arena and the millions watching from afar, one had to look past the blinding flashbulbs and the structural opulence of the venue to the remarkable journeys of the heroes at the center of the celebration. The bride, a global icon who had spent decades translating the human experience into universal anthems, had finally found a co-author for her ultimate chapter. A partner whose own journey from the heartland of America to the absolute pinnacle of athletic achievement mirrored her own dedication and resilience. Their union represented a rare alignment of two cultural titans who, despite existing in the punishing glare of constant public scrutiny, had managed to build a sanctuary of genuine affection and mutual respect. The legendary voices of Stevie Nicks and Tim McGraw echoing through the rafters served as a living bridge between the past and the future, their songs honoring the long, winding road that had brought the couple to this definitive moment. For the lifelong friends and teammates who filled the room, the evening was a celebration of enduring character, a profound validation that even in a world defined by fleeting trends and superficial connections, true devotion could still triumph on the grandest possible stage. Abigail Anderson's presence throughout the festivities, from the quiet warmth of the intimate rehearsal dinner to the grand scale of the main reception, stood as a beautiful symbol of this unchanging loyalty. Having walked alongside the bride since their early days in high school, long before the stadiums and the global fame, Abigail represented the unbreakable foundation of the past, an anchor of normalcy and deep sisterhood that remained untouched by the madness of celebrity. On the other side of this merging universe stood figures like Laura Crook, whose elegance and grace reflected the tight-knit camaraderie and shared sacrifices of the professional sports community, where bonds forged in the heat of competition become lifelong family ties. The accidental synchronicity of their matching Sao Lee gowns earlier that morning, which had initially caused such a flurry of playful commentary, faded into a beautiful metaphor for the evening itself, a visual representation of two entirely different worlds effortlessly finding harmony, rhythm, and common ground. As the celebration pressed on toward the early morning hours, the initial tension that had gripped the city melted away, replaced by an overwhelming, escalating wave of pure joy and collective euphoria. The dance floor became a vibrant mosaic where Hollywood elite, legendary musicians, and towering football icons mingled without barrier, united by a shared desire to honor a love story that felt both larger than life and beautifully, intimately human. Guests watched with admiration as the bride and groom navigated the room with effortless grace, taking the time to connect with each individual who had played a part in their respective journeys, ensuring that despite the staggering scale of the 1,000-person blowout, the core of the evening remained fixed on gratitude and connection. The immense logistical triumph of turning a world-famous sports arena into a romantic, enchanted sanctuary would be studied by event coordinators for years to come, but the true legacy of the night was found in the laughter, The shared tears during the vows and the unspoken understanding that this was a definitive marker in modern pop culture. When the final notes of the historic musical performances eventually filled the room and the lights of the garden began to dim against the dawn of a new New York City morning, the attendees departed with the knowledge that they had not merely attended a high-profile wedding, but had been active participants in a living piece of cultural history. The stories of Abigail, Laura,